Receiver, ball's there, he's in position, just doesn't make the play.
Nussmeier looking, he connects, Kyron Lacy over the... Nussmeier under pressure, and a touchdown, the second of the day.
This is a tragedy. Former LSU wide receiver Kyron Lacy, man, this guy was a great receiver, man. You know, he put up all kinds of numbers. You know, he just declared for the draft, but unfortunately, you know, he got into some serious trouble. You know, he ended up getting into a hit and run where a 78-year-old man was unalived, right? He went into the draft. He played 12 games. You know, he had 58 catches with 866 yards. You know, he was slated to go into the first round of the draft, right? Former LSU wide receiver Kyron Lacy accused of causing a crash that killed a 78-year-old man on December 17th and then fleeing the scene without rendering aid or calling authorities, turned himself into authorities Saturday night and was jailed, then released on $151 bail, according to police. Louisiana Parish Sheriff's Office records indicate that Lacy was charged with negligent homicide, and felony, right? And then all of a sudden we got this news. Former LSU receiver Kyron Lacy was found dead Saturday night in Houston. An LSU official confirmed to ESPN Sunday. A cause of death was not immediately known. Lacy was accused of causing a crash that killed 78-year-old man December 17th, then fleeing the scene without rendering aid or calling authorities on January 12th. So basically, you know, he's being charged with a hit and run. Somebody was unalived. I guess he couldn't stand the heat, so he went down and he ultimately unalived himself, right? You know, everybody's upset. There's family on both sides, you know, rest in peace to the 70-year-old man. My condolences go out to his family. They lost their life. You know, that man might have been the patriarch of his family. He was the OG, right? But then you have the young man, you know, he couldn't take the heat and he unalived himself. So, you know, I'm sure his family is devastated. So nobody wins here, right? But then this is what the news is reporting. Check this out.
Well, tonight, former LSU wide receiver Kyron Lacy turned himself in on charges related to a hit and run that killed a man. Lacy declared for the draft after graduating in December. Now he could be charged with negligent homicide. Good evening and thanks so much for watching. I'm Whitney Miller. Lacy bonded out of jail less than 2 hours after turning himself in. We were the only news outlet there as he arrived at the Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Office. You can see him enter the building and speak with several state troopers, then get led to the back. The crash happened last month in Jack Bay. State police say a Dodge Charger was driving southbound on Highway 20. The driver sped up and crossed into the northbound side to pass multiple cars in front of them, even though it was a no passing lane. A car in the northbound lane stopped to avoid being hit, which caused the car behind them to swerve and hit another vehicle head on. The Charger sped off and 3 people from 2 of those cars were taken to the hospital. One 78-year-old man, Herman Hall, died not long after. Investigators identified the Charger as belonging to Kyron Lacy. State police issued an arrest warrant for him, and tonight he turned himself in. Authorities tell us he faces charges of negligent homicide, felony hit and run.
So now with all this being said, there's a 78-year-old man that's dead and the family devastated. You know, some will say, you know, with all the things that's going on across the country now, you know, with situations in Dallas and the country's divided by race. To me, this is not a race issue. You know, I was hurt real bad in a hit-and-run car accident some years ago. I had a couple friends that died in a hit-and-run car accident a couple years ago. This is a stupidity, immature and stupidity issue. You know, he couldn't wait, you know, going around the turn and, you know, he crashed and hit some people, right? A 78-year-old man dies. He flees the scene. Now, we don't know if he had drugs in his system, alcohol. We don't know. But what we do know is he was 24 years old, and whatever the situation was, he couldn't bear it no more, and he took his life. I feel bad for the family, and I feel bad for him, but I also feel bad for the family of the deceased, right? Their father is dead because of somebody else's ignorance, somebody else not following the law, right? So I'll tell you guys, this isn't about color. This is just about stupidity, right? So this is the way the families is coping with the situation. We'll come right back.
Herman Hall's life is remembered in photos from beloved moments that are now cherished memories. The doting father, grandfather, and American hero served 2 tours in Vietnam, proudly fighting for his country.
He loved to garden. He loved to ride his bike. He used to ride his bike like 28 miles a day. I don't know. He just told great stories. He loved his family. He loved his friends.
His daughter, Heather Dickerson, remembers a happy home and a magical childhood.
He's a hard worker. He gave us a great life.
Hall's life was tragically cut short a week before this past Christmas, after Dickerson says her parents went to run some routine errands. When they were coming back home on Highway 20 near Perez Lane and Shack Bay, state police say a Dodge Charger, swerving and speeding, caused a major crash. Mangled metal is all that remains from the crushed cars, the front ends folding in from the intense impact. Inside the SUV were Dickerson's parents, who were both wearing seatbelts. Dickerson remembers calling her parents moments after the crash happened.
She said, "We just got in a wreck." I said, "You just got in a wreck? What are you talking about?" She said, "Yeah, we got in a head-on collision. The car's totaled." And I was like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm fine." She's like, "My chest hurts, but maybe it's from the seatbelt or the airbag."
As the investigation began, sources say state police found surveillance video from a nearby business that revealed LSU standout 24-year-old Kyron Lacy's Dodge Charger was involved in the crash. Investigators allege Lacy drove around the scene and fled south on LA Highway 20 without stopping to render aid, call emergency services, or report his involvement in the crash. The wreck so severe, Dickerson's mother broke multiple bones, but she was not really processing what had just happened.
And I was like, "Okay, well, how's Dad?" And she said, "Well, he's fine. He's complaining that his back hurts." And I was like, "Okay." She's like, "Well, I have to go." And so she hangs up, and I was like, so then she calls me back. And she said, "Hey, they're going to airlift your dad to UMC." I was like, "Wait, what? Airman? What are you talking about? You said he was okay." She's like, "Oh, well, he will. He'll be fine." So apparently she was in shock.
Paramedics rushed Hall to New Orleans, where he was pronounced dead.
Touchdown! Kyron Lacy! And LSU wins!
Prior to the crash on December 17th, Thibodaux native Kyron Lacy had a future full of limitless possibilities. The 24-year-old just entered the NFL draft. He's a homegrown Bayou boy, graduating from Thibodaux High, eventually moving on to play football at the University of Louisiana Lafayette, where he quickly became a shining star. He transferred to LSU in 2022, where his performance on the field was revered by his college teammates and recruiters. During his 5-year collegiate career at the University of Louisiana Lafayette and LSU, he caught 162 passes for 2,360 yards and scored 26 touchdowns. Now, Lacy finds himself on the wrong side of the law, facing charges of negligent homicide, felony hit and run, and reckless operation.
For someone to cause an accident like that and just keep going, like it didn't matter, some just stupidity, honestly. Like, I mean, how can you be in that much of a hurry? This is the time of year. There's cane trucks. We 2-lane roads. There's no shoulders. Highway 1, 308, Highway 20. It's dangerous roads. Like you need to be responsible.
Dickerson says she's in disbelief, losing her father 8 days before Christmas.
Tomorrow's never promised. You never know when your last day, your last breath will be.
She wants to see Lacy pay for his alleged actions.
I'm confident there will be justice, but no, I won't stop.
No matter who it is?
No, I don't care who it is. No, I mean, they wouldn't. If the tables were turned, if it were them, they wouldn't stop.
Hall's wife, who was driving the car, has a long road to recovery. I'm told state police are in communication with Lacy's lawyer, who says his client will turn himself in once he returns to Louisiana from a trip out of state. In Baton Rouge, I'm Chris Nakamoto.
So what you have here is 2 families devastated. And I'm not gonna lie. I think that what this young man did was selfish. He did an immature act, and somebody died. He couldn't face the music. He was facing 15 to 25 years in jail, and now he took his life. Right. So he left a whole devastated family behind. Right. Devastated. He wasn't able to actually man up and deal with what he's done. Right. Because he would have been there forever indebted to that family. Like I said, that's not something that we rally behind and get behind with race. That's something that somebody did that was dumb, right? Because it wouldn't have mattered, if what color they were. Somebody hit your family member and killed them. You would want justice. You would want extreme justice. You would be hurt. You would be devastated. You would be upset, especially if they left the scene, right? So he had family members. One of his homeboys write a letter, and a lot of times, when somebody died, people write these letters, and I often say, well, the person that you're writing it to is dead. They're not here no more. They're not going to get it. Like, maybe you're writing this for the living. You're trying to tell people how you felt about them. But he said this: I'm so lost for words, I'm speechless. I went to sleep 4 times and woke up to see if it was a dream. When Miss Candace called me, heartbroken, all the talks, all the tears, everything. God had us. YK, we protected everybody. We wake up and go to sleep. I promise, I tell you this every day. I prayed for your career, your health, everything. Every time I laid my head on that pillow every night, even if I fell asleep without saying my prayers, I woke up in the middle of the night and still talked to God for you. Why would you leave me, bro? I had a half a heart when Quan left me, and you just took the other half. I'll never be good on this earth again. We promised each other through it all, and we did. But to why, if nobody was here for you, Ron Trail is, and YK, this bro. The dreams we had started to kick in. You making it to the NFL, and me playing ball overseas. Our dreams was coming to reality. We talked and cried and laughed it off every day, bro. I can't effing do this without you, dog. I have no other words. I'm speechless. Big bro, love you infinitely. Tell Quan, I'm fine out here. Y'all watch over me. And don't let me quit for nothing. And I can't forget, you was a legend. You received your flowers. I'll be fine, but give me some time, bro. So that's one of his homeboys. He's heartbroken. Like I said, there's a lot of devastation here. There's a lot of people hurt. And like I said, he was 24 years old. This was too much for him to bear. They still don't know how he unalived himself. All the reports haven't come out yet. And I do feel bad for him, but he made a mistake. And the sad part is he had to pay for it with his life. So I tell you people, man, when you driving, put your seatbelts on, man. Don't be in such a rush to go nowhere fast. I'm going to say it again. Don't be in such a rush to go nowhere fast. Take your time. Because while you're being negligent, you can affect other people and totally ruin other people's lives. You can totally devastate a whole nother family just by being reckless. Right? So I'm going to cut this video short right here. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button. Subscribe to Street Media TV. Leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. And remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.